Brace,
Ma'am,
what are you doing for the holidays?
I am doing something I call the thankless giving, where I ride around with all my hoodlum friends. We throw rocks through the windows of happy families.
That's so mean.
Then I smoke unfiltered cigarettes in front of my baby, who I don't take care of. I sell the baby.
Did you see the pardon turkeys?
I did not. No. Is that they still do that?
Why do they do that?
It's because it's fucked up because those turkeys are convicted of sex crimes usually. That is the most heinous sort of crime in the avian. Are turkeys avian? They're birds, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I told you about the time the turkeys chased me.
You did not. No.
I didn't.
No. Were they successful?
Yeah. This is one time at an unnamed location in the Bay Area where there are wild turkeys.
Okay.
And it was very early in the morning, and I was like, oh my God, look, there's a bunch of wild turkeys. And so I was like, hello, turkeys. And I went up to them.
They can't speak English.
They were not excited to see me. And one of them kind of like got in my face, and then he got the other ones all riled up, and they started kind of flapping at me. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? So I started to kind of back away, and then they were charging at me. And I had to like run down the hill and go into a building and like slam the door, and because these fucking turkeys were chasing me.
Oh my God. You know what I would have done if I was in your case? I would have headshotted each of them with a 44 Magnum.
I mean, they were wild birds.
I was chased by geese often in high school.
Geese, not good birds.
No, horrible, but better tasting.
I do love a goose.
I do love a plump goose.
Yeah, a Christmas goose.
So here's a little advice, fans and fanettes. If you are with your family this Thanksgiving and they're like, oh, Joe Biden's got such a juicy pussy, or like, oh, Elizabeth Warren's plans for fucking my ass are so good. And you're like, what? Dude, I'm a moderate log cabin Republican. I do not want to talk about this stuff. I only want to talk about podcasts. Here's what you can say. You can deflect it. You can move it off of politics by immediately on the table having sex with your stepmother. That will fix all of it. Or you can just even ask. If you don't want to do something that bold, you can even do what I do at every family gathering and be like, what's up with all the stepmom porn?
Yeah, every family gathering and every podcast.
Mm-hmm. You're just like, what's up with that? And no one has an answer, but it'll provide several hours of dialogue.
Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Come in. Jeffrey Epstein.
I would love Prince Andrew and his fucking Gilfast mom, Elizabeth, were riding horses the day after he stepped down, and every part of me was like, I would give anything for her to ride me like a horse.
Ew, no, you wouldn't. Bruce.
Not like an actual, like I'm on all fours walking around.
You're just being a shock jock. You don't really think that.
She actually would be a shocking jockey, I would say. She would be delightful at it. Her little figure, her bones so thin, her
frail.
Yeah, she's a baby
bones.
Yoda.
Why is Baby Yoda a thing?
It reminds of people of the Queen. Only figure in science fiction that people are attracted to. A lot of people who see the baby are like, I wish I could have a baby, but A, I'm 58, 3, my kids are all B, not 3, my kids are all grown, and C, I've gone impotent from watching too much Star Wars. That's why people like Baby Yoda.
I don't know. I don't really. It's fine.
Yeah. I wish it had tits. I wish it had huge...
Is it... Oh, no. It's literally Baby Yoda? Or is it
it's not
a baby?
It's a Yoda.
So Yoda is like a species? I thought Yoda was just
a mystery
kind
of. I don't really want to reveal how much I know about this, but
I do.
It's unknown. Apparently, there is a woman Yoda, but she's not. She's named
Yodi?
It's like Yachty or something like that. It's like a Yoda with an A, more than one A.
Is there a Yodex?
There's Yodex Socialists of America. Yeah, there is. Yeah. So, if I was the King of England, why isn't there a King of England? Can you tell me that?
Because there's a Queen of England.
But why can't there be a king and she's married, right?
Well, yeah, but it's by blood. So she was the daughter, so she became queen.
Well, what? Okay. But so who's going to be king?
So Charles is next in line.
Charles is.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a sticky wicket.
Yeah, Charles, actually, you know, some people, some like crazy internet people, you know, my types.
Yeah.
Think that they think like kind of like doomsday Brexit scenario is the
okay.
queen dies.
Yeah.
Because she's up there.
Inshallah.
Charles takes over and reasserts. This is the like, and I think the like crazy NRX like monarchist.
Are we
things.
talking royal prerogative here?
That's what I'm saying. Reasserts sovereignty of the crown, dissolves parliament,
And
deals
undoes,
undoes Brexit to save the kingdom.
So he's like, listen, Brexit is going to cause, I don't know, something, and I've got to fix it. So I'm going to turn this back into a regular monarchy, just for like an hour, like a few hours or something. What is the transition?
I don't think that any of this is going to happen.
Couldn't they just re-Brexit after he steps down?
Yeah, I don't think anything is going to happen.
You don't think Brexit's going to happen?
I don't know if Brexit is going to happen.
It would be such a funny if it didn't. It just didn't.
I mean, it's
happen.
been what? Fucking like, how long has it been?
5 years, I think.
No, 4 years. 3 years.
3
yeah,
years.
because it was 2016.
Yeah, sorry. It's been 5 years since I've seen my own dick.
June, July 2016. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be so funny if I like no deal Brexit's coming, baby.
Yeah, well, I kind of saw. I always like dip in and out. I don't really know what the story is right now, but
Election's coming on the 12th.
election is coming. Prayers up. Mm-hmm. Everyone, think good thoughts.
Yeah. The hot ass fucking 10 out of 10 from the Lib Dems is going to sweep in there. Joe Swinson will be she's my queen.
Did you see how everyone got mad at Corbyn for saying Epstein?
Epstein, he said.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Corbyn got in trouble at the ITV debates between him and Boris Johnson. Corbyn, of course, is a notorious anti-Semite running for prime minister in England, who I'm related to. Jeremy Corbyn did two things that
He's
people got mad
anti-Semitic,
at.
just like every communist in history.
Yeah, so there is.
That's a joke.
I know. I'm going at them, not you.
Oh my God, Jews
but
make the best communists. Everyone knows that.
we made up communism.
That's what I'm saying.
And literally killed the Tsar in like a Jewish ritual. So Corbyn got in trouble for two things. He said Epstein, and he said that he would give Boris Johnson a Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. And somehow A Christmas Carol, I've never read A Christmas Carol, but apparently there's just like a guy named the Jew or something in it. And they're like, oh, he's saying that he would give him that book because there's a caricature of a Jew in it. And he's presumably trying to make Boris Johnson, who almost assuredly is actually anti-Semitic, he would be trying to like give him anti-Semite propaganda. And the other thing he said was Epstein.
No, I thought the Dickens one was even worse. It was some fucking rabbi, and he was like, oh, you brought up Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol, but he also wrote Oliver Twist.
Oh,
the
yeah.
character of Fagin, who is a Jew and bad. Therefore, it's anti-Semitic.
Wait, they said that he was being anti-Semitic because he referenced A Christmas Carol, which also happened to be written by...
Yes.
Charles
come
Dickens.
on. But then he said Epstein.
Yeah, he said Epstein. He said so Jeremy Corbyn said Jeffrey Epstein because there was a question from the debate host asking if Prince Andrew should maybe step down or if Prince Andrew had sort of disgraced the crown recently, and Corbyn said that if we should center Epstein's victims, and then the second time he said Epstein the first time, and then the second time he said Mr. J.E.'s name, he said Epstein. And listen, Epstein, I pronounced it like that. Right? It's okay.
I don't know. Am I crazy? Because I don't think there's anything wrong with mispronouncing a name.
Well, he mispronounced it anti-Semitically.
Is saying Epstein is anti-Semitic?
If you're a very insane person, yes. I mean, if you were saying it like, if you were like a Nazi guy saying it, I kind of get what you're saying. But like, Corbyn clearly he wasn't like trying to do a thing there.
It's so crazy. I mean,
They didn't like
isn't it
catch him
always,
being
like-
an anti-Semite on TV.
isn't it always like people like J.K. Rowling like throwing this around who
Well-
had like literal goblin bankers
I mean, if
as
you really-
main characters
if
in her
you
fucking
really-
magic children's book?
If you really want to get like into what it's about, I mean, I would say that certain government agencies that exist in the UK perhaps are also pushing the line that Jeremy Corbyn, someone who has campaigned against racism, anti-Semitism
Yeah,
for
the
decades is anti-Semitic.
that little twerp, Dearborn, I think his name's Lord Dearborn.
I'm sorry, I don't follow the royal stuff.
Well, no, he's the
Lord Sugar, are you talking about?
no, he's the ex-head of MI6, and he always pops up like every couple months to like, throw around his opinions in the election. And he was talking about Corbyn's anti-Semitism and it being a threat to the stability of the UK, and MI6 has all they're all
I mean, and the council of like this very conservative. There's a lot of very conservative elements that are against Corbyn, but I believe it was like some Jewish council or whatever of Britain actually asked Mike Pompeo to interfere with the election. Of course, this represents like big business people. It does not represent like the Jew like myself, the Jew on the street. And God knows, I mean, they're really giving it everything they got. But it was interesting in that debate. That caused a lot of outrage. But Boris Johnson literally saying in response, like clearly with the Epstein stuff in mind, that the monarchy is above reproach is one of the most insane. Just everyone was like, all right, yeah, he's right. One of the most insane things I've ever heard in my life.
What's your prediction? You think Bojo's going to take it?
I'm always right about elections, so I'm going to say Jeremy Corbyn. I'm betting $100 million on Jeremy Corbyn getting into number 10.
Well, we'll see what happens. We should say hello to everyone.
Hi. Oh, and our names, right?
We should do that.
Hi, my name is Lord Pimping.
No, it's not.
Lord Pimping.
That's a terrible name.
Yeah, so it's a title actually. With me is Mistress.
Mistress?
Yes, the mistress of a dog.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I don't know. What's wrong with you?
Oh my god.
You're not even the dog's wife in this.
All right, this
Merely
is bad.
his plaything. Hello, I'm Brace.
Yeah, okay, I'm Liz.
Joined by producer Young Chomsky. Stop staring at me like that.
Welcome to TrueAnon.
There has been some bombshells.
Yes, before we get to that,
Okay.
real quick. Welcome back. I feel like we haven't done this in a minute because we were so crazed with the live show.
Yes.
I was at my wit's end. Brace and I were at each other's throats.
Going insane.
There was cardboard and glitter everywhere.
Real gun on stage.
Real gun. It was so fun. I cannot believe how many people showed up. I am completely floored and humbled. So I want to thank everyone who came out. That was a really memorable night.
Yeah, that was totally psychotic.
Yeah. I was so nervous.
I was not, but that's only because I had taken 15 Xannies
No,
before we did
that's
it.
not true. But I was like super nervous, and then I think I finally calmed down like halfway through the show.
Yeah, me too. Once I realized, I was like, they don't even know my lines. Not my lines, like what we're talking about. So I could just skip whole sections. And
Which we did.
No, yeah, we definitely did do that. No one's going to even notice.
They didn't.
And
But now
all I
you
could
know.
think about was the very real gun that I had on my person.
Shout out to all the people who didn't get in. I'm so sorry. Hopefully we will have some news about upcoming shows soon. We're trying to figure that out, but it's the holidays. It's a tricky time. Also, we're new to this, so bear with us.
Well, our overbearing manager, Mr. Epstein, has been making some moves. So, but yeah, I had a blast.
yeah, I had a lot of fun. So thanks. Also, shout out to all the people who said hello. Don't be afraid to do that. We love to say hello.
You should be a little afraid to do that. Liz is
trying to be nice.
Yeah, she's very cruel to people she knows.
No, I'm not.
To people she knows.
Oh.
So it's best to stay at arm's length before she decides that she can be rude to you all the time.
I'm a nice person.
Agreed. So,
Okay, back to the show. So while we were sleeping, like the movie, like you mentioned, some bombshells dropped.
the first of which is one of the biggest and truly the dumbest bombshell that I've ever seen dropped. I knew this was coming for a little while, and I thought this was, first of all, the BBC interview.
Yes.
Is what we're talking about. The BBC interview with...
Randy Andy.
Yes.
The Duke of...
The Dickless Duke. Mr. Sweats.
Buckingham's finest.
Yeah. It is about 45 minutes long. It is made of solid gold. And you should watch it. Like, pause this episode, go watch it.
Yeah, okay. Initial thoughts. One, who let this happen?
So the person that let this happen, his like PR person, quit the next day.
Do you think that was like her exit strategy? Like
She was
that
like,
would have
I'm
been
just gonna fuck this up for Andrew.
Yeah, that would have been kind of amazing.
Inside job?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that you could have. I mean, if that's how it's like in an interview, I'm not sure that. I mean, my God,
You little PR, kiddos out there.
thin women.
If
she's talking
you
to.
wanna, throw a bomb at your boss and quit in flames, pull an Andrew.
Make him say that he can't swell. Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So it is. I mean, there's so much solid stuff from that. I have to read a quote.
Yes,
though.
please.
At one point, Prince Andrew is talking about the allegations by Virginia Jeffrey that say that he molested her or raped her 3 times, right? And on one of those occasions, it was this sort of night out with Ghislaine and Jeffrey in London, with dancing and drinks, and then going back to Ghislaine's townhouse. And Virginia Jeffrey describes him as incredibly sweaty. He's a sweaty man, and you can easily picture this. And
Yeah, he's a disgusting
if
pig.
you look at that picture of him from the night, the man is practically glistening.
Yeah, there's all those photos of him like with a bunch of
Yes, young girls.
also glistening women where he's just got like wasted
He's
party
clearly
face.
on ecstasy.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, look up Prince Andrew party pics, and you will see a lot of.
It's like real Brazzers hours.
Yeah. So this is what Prince Andrew says. There's a slight problem. I'm going to say this in an old voice. There's a slight problem with the sweating. Although you really got to listen to him say it because he sounds less convincing than I do. There's a slight problem with the sweating. I have a peculiar medical condition. I didn't sweat at the time because I had suffered what I would describe as an overdose of adrenaline in the Falklands War when I was shot at, and it was impossible for me to sweat. And it's only because I have done a number of things in the recent past that I am able to starting to be able to do that again. So I'm afraid that there's a medical condition that says I didn't do it. Amazing strategy. I mean, this puts the Dan White
the Twinkie defense
to fucking, it puts it to bed and puts a bullet in its head.
Yeah.
The man is saying that it is impossible, not only just impossible morally, but physically impossible for him to have committed this heinous crime, because in the victim, the young child's memory, he was sweating. But in fact, due to a medical condition that he literally made up, I believe, while he was telling the story, that is actually impossible. The whole story is preposterous because if that detail is incorrect. That detail, by the way, is clearly correct. He's just lying here.
So, a couple questions, Dr. Brace. Is it possible to not sweat?
Well, let me quote a Dr. Mark Lupin, a dermatologist, blah, blah, blah.
You had that on the ready.
Yeah, I had that because this question was coming. Anyways, this guy's a dermatologist at the University of British Columbia. He says, It is implausible to the point of being impossible that an overdose of adrenaline could cause a persistent inability to sweat. There are no human studies, nor is there reasonable science to back up this claim. The claim that an overdose of adrenaline has led to the inability to sweat does not make sense. So there are a few like conditions which make it impossible to sweat. Those are all like really bad conditions and not something that we would like just be learning decades after the fact about Prince Andrew. I mean, it's your body, it's like breathing, right? Like it's exuding all your gunk.
I like the idea that he can't sweat, but he just pants like a dog.
Yeah. Well, I've ever since I heard about antiperspirant, like when I first heard about it, I was like, damn, that's crazy. You can just like not.
Were you in your freshman dorm when you?
No, first of all, I've never lived in a dorm because I never went to college. But
yeah, suck it, nerds.
Mm-hmm, no, really, please, nerds, please suck me. But I'm begging you. So no, I heard about it in middle school. I actually remember where I heard about it. I don't know why, but I had the idea then. And the idea's never fully escaped my brain that I could coat my body in antiperspirant. And then I would just, I would become huge because my body would just swell with human water. Apparently, though, coating your body in antiperspirant does something called death to you.
Yeah. So would you call, okay, so second question, this time not for Dr. Brace, this time for war veteran.
Sergeant Brace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does PTSD act as a natural antiperspirant?
So I don't know because I don't have it unless I'm about to get canceled, in which case I do have it. To me, I feel like you would start sweating. I mean, I don't know. PTSD does a lot of things to you. But here's the thing. Prince Andrew, if he has PTSD, he is one of the biggest pussies on earth. Because Prince Andrew was not in a combat role in the Falklands War. Prince Andrew was specifically targeted by the Argentinian Navy. Yes, it's true. But they didn't do it very well. And it wasn't exactly like, we're not talking, I mean, I think it was like something like 250 British people died, which is, kind of a lot. But Prince Andrew was certainly not one of them. He was not like I don't think he was a combat helicopter pilot. I think he was near a combat zone, but I think he was just like ferried people or something like that. I mean, they're not going to put this guy in a truly dangerous job.
Right.
The whole country knew he was there. He was being protected. And he's in a fucking helicopter. I'm sorry, if you're in a helicopter and getting shot at, I'm like, you got all this steel around you. You're in the ocean, so if you crash, I'm going to kill you. I mean, it's possible he did. I think what is more traumatic is being a serial rapist of children, though. That seems like it would haunt me more.
I would think that. I would also like to say that I don't want any possible veterans listening thinking that we're downplaying that in, let's say, any other situation. But I do want to put a little point on the Falklands War.
Yes, this was
this is not
Falklands
Britain's
War.
Vietnam.
No, this was like Britain's. I'm not actually sure I can recall another war being fought over a tiny island. But then again, I am no Stephen Ambrose.
Yeah, it's not even a I don't know.
So the Falklands are a little island off the coast of Argentina that the Brits have. I really did not care enough. Like, I've known about the Falklands War for a long time. This is the extent of my knowledge. British island that they claimed in their empire heyday. There were still just people living there because no one, I guess, really thought about it. Argentina was like, that actually is our island, which kind of have more claim to it than Britain. Invaded. Britain came back. Also re-invaded. Britain eventually won.
Yeah.
And it was like 2 months.
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks, I can't remember. Not a long time.
Yeah, not really not a huge conflict.
So his whole thing is that he has lost the ability to sweat, but it is actually due to this sort of hard work he hints at, he has regained this ability.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of therapy that entails.
So here, for our little careful listeners here, what you can do is you can actually test this on Prince Andrew.
Oh,
If
I
you
like this.
Do a little, what I call a medical procedure. If you catch where I'm going with this. Much like one Ronald Reagan had.
All right.
Yeah, Liz is your Jodie Foster.
Hey.
What? She's hot.
All right, let's get back to the...
Okay, so another thing he was pretty adamant on, and I saw this coming, is that, so that photo, the aforementioned photo of, you can look this up, of Prince Andrew in Ghislaine Maxwell's townhouse with his arm sort of around Virginia Jeffrey's waist, and Ghislaine, sometimes the photo is just like cropped without Ghislaine in it. Sometimes you get Ghislaine sort of standing with her arms crossed and
Right.
smirking in the background.
That ugly ivory sweater.
I think it's beautiful.
Her tits
Ghislaine
look
Maxwell, one of
terrible.
the most beautiful women to ever.
I hate this
I'm
bit.
sorry, this bit sucks. She's so busted. But I'm just trying to be nice in case some of our listeners look like that.
Okay,
None
fair
of them do.
I'm just saying that cowl neck ivory sweater, it's not a good look on her.
She's the
Or
anti-Deanna.
anyone.
So he is saying, and this was floated before, and whenever you hear people be like, sources close to this person say, or like close friends of this person say such and such, that is that person talking. Or at least
their PR person. Yeah, totally.
More likely their PR team, or like literally as this source. So sources close to Prince Andrew were being like, when that photo sort of first started making the rounds, were like, actually, that could be fake.
Right.
And then Prince Andrew, in one of the most really just fantastic, brutal series of stutters, also in so many careful words, is like, that photo is fake. He's like, so, that photo could be real, but we really can't prove that it's fake. Like, we're looking into, he phrased it like this. He was like, we're looking into whether it's been doctored. Like, he's on the side of truth. And like, I want to get to this, to the bottom of this as good as anybody. But he's very careful in saying it, but you cannot leave without the impression that he says, that is not my hand, and that the photo's been doctored. Before, his excuse was, my fingers are much less fat than that.
Well, I just think it's like, okay, so they put your head on someone else's body, but they forgot to edit the hand.
Or like,
Do you know what I mean?
He's like
It doesn't-
not even denying it's him there, really. He's sort of denying it, but he's really just focusing on sort of scuttling the hand as evidence. He's like, okay, that could be me, but that's really not my hand. And so I think what he's going with this, if it's the hand's fake, then the whole picture's thrown into doubt. But he doesn't have the audacity to say that the whole picture is fake. That makes any sense.
Right, but I'm just saying that if the hand is fake, that means that the photo was doctored, but the part that was doctored is not the hand.
Wouldn't they just like doctor a picture of him like having sex with a child? Like, why would they do it like, look, he could have done it here?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously him.
It's clearly,
obviously
yeah.
real.
And the person that provided the photo is Virginia Jeffrey, who is sort of been the main witness in all this. I mean, she's
accusing him.
She's accusing him, and Virginia Jeffrey has been nothing but honest this entire time. There's absolutely no reason to doubt this. She's not. I don't think she's not seeking money from Andrew. It's not like. She's literally just as like she runs a fucking child abuse foundation. She's like she obviously cares about this issue, and she was abused by this guy.
Also, what year was that photo allegedly released? Like 2000, because it's been around for a while.
Yeah, it's been around for quite a while. Yeah, it's been floating around for. I mean, I can check right now.
It's okay.
Okay, I'm not going to check, but it's been floating around.
But I mean, it's been a while, and my point is that, Photoshop skills, they weren't that great back then.
No, not at all. And like also just like I've seen a lot of Photoshops in my time. This looks real. I mean, he does have little sausage fingers, but also, sorry, the rest of Prince Andrew's body is also fat.
Yeah. Okay. So now we need to get to point 3.
This was 2001.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, 2001.
2001. Do you know what Photoshop looked like back then? Mm-hmm. Do you know what, like,
I know
Kim
they photoshopped
Kardashian's
two
tan?
towers out of existence.
We didn't
then,
even
and
have real tan. Everything was orange.
Yep.
The technology did not exist.
Yeah, it's just amazing now.
Yeah. This is like the time of like Clippy in Microsoft Word. We did
Yeah.
not have good ass Photoshop.
Yeah.
This is not a deep fake.
What is the purpose of this Photoshop? It's to make the guy that everyone knows is an insane pervert look perverted.
Yeah,
Like, there's other photos of Prince Andrew doing shit.
Okay, so you brought up the sausage fingers. I want to get to my point 3, which is we need to talk about Andrew's neck.
So, from what I understand, the neck is the thing that connects the body to the head, right? Am I missing something?
Oops. Young Chomsky's the resident medical expert.
Mr. Chomsky, does the neck serves the purpose of swiveling the head, or just as a connector, or some sort of, it's like a hanger for your body as the coat and your head is the thing that goes on the hanger thing?
There are muscles in the neck.
Does a neck, what if it has no muscles?
Yeah.
If your neck has no muscles, then you can't turn your head.
Would you be like a rubber chicken and like you can sort of, because from what I took a detailed examination of every frame of this interview with Prince Andrew. And at no point does it appears like somebody took all of the stuff out of his neck, all of the bones, all of the muscles, all of the meat, all of the veins. And there's just this layer of skin sort of functions as a turtleneck that he can descend in and ascend from at will.
Yes. Yeah, it is like, and as the interview goes on, watch the neck, because it just starts to kind of envelop the bottom half of his face.
There is no way to break Prince Andrew's hyoid bone because it's clear that he doesn't have a hyoid bone.
Yeah, I mean, it's really remarkable.
What he looks like, and I hate to be so crude, he looks like he is an uncircumcised penis.
Yeah, I almost said it, but I didn't think it was appropriate or on brand for me to say such a thing.
Like around me?
Just in general.
I would take, that wheat's Jewish. Sound like Jeremy Corbyn.
It's like he's wearing a cowl neck of his own skin.
Yeah, and you can see when he grows frightened.
Yes,
he descends into
much
the
like
bowels of his neck.
Some kind of prehistoric animal.
Yeah, I mean clearly
microbe.
Centuries of incestuous fornicating has so malformed the males of this family that they almost appear to be let's just say other than human, neo-human.
Yes.
But he has stepped down.
Yes, and as has his neck.
Yeah. So yeah, his PR person quit the day after the interview, and then he kind of quit later.
Yeah. So okay, I've got a couple questions. I don't understand what it means to step down as Prince. Like, he's still getting financial compensation.
Yes. Which
is quite a lot, from my understanding.
The royal family takes in at least $10 million a year, which is, I think, 65... Or no, it might be more than that. They take in 65 cents from every British taxpayer per year.
65 pence.
Cents is a pence. It's just American slang for it.
Yeah, I think Andrew takes in about £2 million a year.
Yeah, I mean, he also has all these sort of other scam deals going.
Yeah. But so it's like his entire princely life will still be completely funded. He just is not. He doesn't get any of the regalia.
Well, I mean, he's not too great with money. Remember that actually Jeffrey Epstein had to bail out his wife Fergie, who, by the way, stands with him, says he's an honorable man.
I mean, what is Fergie gonna do?
Yeah, I do think it's rather unbecoming of a prince to have banged the chick from the Black Eyed Peas. No. But then I remember I also had sex with her, so it's not that weird. Yeah, Fergie stands with him.
Okay, whatever. I mean, I'm surprised actually, because if I know Fergie,
which she does,
I do, is she loves a headline.
Yes.
So I wouldn't be surprised if old Fergie trots out another memoir. I think she's written about, 18 at this point. Trots out a little memoir next year about how she is so scorned from the fallout of Andrew's Epstein revelations.
So for our Democratic Socialist friends out there, this is something you'll be interested in. You can find really good pictures of Fergie getting her feet rubbed. I know that's a big thing with you guys. If you just Google Fergie foot rub.
It's
there's some
Sarah
pretty
Ferguson. You want to get the right Fergie
Yeah, Sarah
here.
Ferguson foot rub.
God
There
knows
are
what's
some
out there with
pretty
the other Fergie.
scintillating pics. But yeah, he stepped down, put out this stupid fucking thing. It was like, it's been a distraction. He actually floated the idea of a second interview for about 2 days.
Oh my God,
before
I wanted it so bad.
I'll get it. I'll talk to him. We'll get him on the pod.
I just love that he had people in his life that were like, I don't know, that could be an okay idea.
I think the Queen actually encouraged him to do it.
So do you think that, okay, another question.
All right, Liz's royal thinking cap is on.
I'm full of questions today. Prime Minister's Question Hour, right here, TrueAnon headquarters. Do you think the Queen is doing a little queenly trickery?
Oh, you think she's doing possibly some of that old
Like, do you think she's encouraging him
magic?
because it looks terrible?
Oh, because
this is
she
like
wants why?
Just further distance
She doesn't like him.
from any royal connections.
Maybe. I will say that he is Mommy's little boy. I mean, he's not the favorite. They did go horseback riding the day after he stepped down.
Yeah.
So possibly she was like,
She was getting in the whole...
yeah, maybe she was riding him around the old Buckingham Palace,
Okay.
if you know what I mean.
Ew.
Right into the bearskin rug. Yeah, it could be. I mean, who knows what the maneuvering of these fucking perverts is. But yeah, maybe she was like
It did come out
muscling him
that
out of the way.
Princess Beatrice, his daughter,
Yep.
was the one that encouraged him to do the first interview.
Yeah,
And
well,
now
she was
she's
part of
in
it.
tears over how Andrew handled it. Beatrice is set to get married.
Was she the one that was going to do? Oh, and now this'll cast a shadow upon our wedding.
Of course.
Well, never fear. She's marrying me, and I am a seasoned anti-pedophile crusader. Was she the one that was going to do the podcast about human trafficking?
Yes.
So yeah, we've covered this in another episode, but yeah, let us remind you that when this news broke, and in fact,
No, it
even-
was Eugenie.
It was Eugenie. Yes. Yeah, anyways, his other daughter was going to do
Yes.
a podcast about human trafficking.
So you
That's
gotta-
another one of our fucking enemies down. So glad I photoshopped that picture.
Two sides of the Prince Andrew family coin right there. Mm-hmm. Encouraging the pedo, not encouraging the pedo.
You should prorogue that guy's life. If you know what I mean. Yeah, so it is, damn, Royals.
Yeah,
finished.
it's pretty fun. Yeah, I encourage everyone. There's new breaking news every day. Just check our favorite little rags from across the pond, the Mirror and the what's the other one?
I like all of them. They're all
Telegraph
like,
has
they're
a bunch
all
of
like
shit.
the Daily Telegraph of London Mirror.
Yeah, the
Mail.
Mirror. Yeah,
The
Star,
Daily Mail.
Daily Mail. Of course, the creme de la creme. The Daily Mail.
Yes.
Love you, Daily
Because you
Mail.
can it's weird. They have really good libel laws there, but also you can just make up whatever you want. It's a
I
really
think it's
great
all true.
system. Yeah, I'm not sure. Remember when they were saying that Jeremy Corbyn was a spy for Czechoslovakia?
I mean, just
That was a
kidding.
little. I mean, that would be great if he was. Do not get me wrong, but that was like, that's a maybe little.
Yeah, but just keep checking in with those little rags because they're dropping little gems every day.
Mm-hmm.
So we had some late breaking Gillian Maxwell news. Mm-hmm. I'm pulling it up right here from the failing. What did he call Sissy Graydon Carter? What was his nickname?
Sissy Graydon Carter.
Was it? Okay.
And this concerns. Wait, I got this. The hunt for Red Hot Smoker, as I call it.
Yes, this is from Vanity Fair. Mm-hmm. The Hunt for Gillian. Oh, there's a good photo of her here. The Hunt for Gillian Maxwell. She's our Waldo, and we're gonna find her. The Hunt for Jeffrey Epstein's alleged enabler, Gillian Maxwell. Mm-hmm. She's been rumored to be everywhere from the Brazilian Riviera to Teaneck, New Jersey. She was tracked down on the Massachusetts coast, then photographed at a fast food joint in LA, but the photo was staged.
I was about to say, yeah, she was not then photographed at the fast food joint.
Now, The Sun is offering £10,000 for information leading to her in person.
Oh.
And the FBI probably knows just where she is. Now, we have talked about how some boots on the ground have intimated that the feds absolutely know where Gillian is.
Yes.
That it's the journalists that don't.
A source close to her forlorn beau, Scott Borgeson, is claiming that Scott is adamant that that actually the people who need to know where she is, which would be the feds, know where she is, and sort of the reason that she hasn't been caught, to my eyes, is that she really does have the dirt. She got sort of the heads up by Jeffrey being arrested, and so she has collected her evidence, and she is ready to go public if anything should happen to her.
A few days ago, an attorney who represents several Epstein accusers told The Sun he believes the FBI has, in fact, been following Maxwell's every move all along. Quote, there's only two possible places where she might be, and that's England, where we know she has an apartment, which, by the way, of course, Andrew, big fan of Gillian's apartment in London.
Yes, he is.
Or somewhere in the States. I mean, okay. And if she's in the States, she's going to be in New York or California. I mean, that's just every it girl, really.
So she could be in the two most populated states.
I've heard people say the Caribbean. I've heard people say France, but nobody seems to have any proper knowledge, a British tabloid insider told me. If they did, they'd be splashing around in the papers. So one thing that this reminds me of is, remember the 60 Minutes interview with Virginia Jeffrey?
Yes.
And that was at 60 Minutes Australia, by the way.
Alt 60 Minutes.
And David Boies was interviewed. And he mentioned that, and it was like just a single line, but it stuck in my head because we're sleuths and you can trust us here at TrueAnon.
That's true.
He said he believed that the FBI absolutely knew where Maxwell was.
Yeah.
So if it seems to be that multiple sources, sources, are confirming that the FBI absolutely does know where she is.
Now, think about this. The FBI is basically letting a notorious, prolific child sex predator, because let us never forget that Ghislaine was an active and enthusiastic participant in these shenanigans. They are letting her off. She's on a leash, but she's free. And yeah, I mean, make of that what you will. I mean, this is, of course, the FBI, the same people that ran, I think, the highest visited child porn trading website for about 6 months at least a few years ago. So who knows? Yeah,
and it also came out, Race. This was also in The Sun. So let's
take this with a grain of salt.
Yes. But Jeffrey Epstein's alleged Madam Gillian Maxwell is finally set to come out of hiding and possibly talk to the FBI.
Ah, yeah.
So the source says she has to defend herself. She has no options. Gillian is prepared to speak, whether by talking to the FBI or giving a statement to the media. Now, why are these two little reports coming out at the same time?
Well, it seems to me that someone's PR team has contacted some people in the press and are signaling perhaps that Ghislaine is, I mean, if she is ready to talk, it is not going to be some straightforward interview with Ghislaine Maxwell. There will be a message here. Let us not forget that this is the same woman who, when she had her lawyer release a photograph of her at In-N-Out taken God knows when, that was photoshopped all to hell, that she mentioned that she was reading a book about the life and death of CIA operatives.
Yes.
So she is a master symbolsmith, akin to Jung himself.
Yeah, I methinks something is afoot with Miss Maxwell.
Yeah, me too.
The Lady Maxwell. And I would not be surprised if we were to see her emerge in some capacity.
What kind? Like vice president? Joe Biden?
Yeah, she's going to be part of Warren's lady cabinet or whatever.
Oh, God, yeah. It's not even a lady cabinet. She was going to have Deval Patrick in it.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
That stupid bitch. No, I just mean it seems like they're laying the groundwork for either an interview or, I mean, I fully believe the feds know where she is. I think the feds know way more than they're telling the press.
Oh, absolutely.
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 And so the idea that she hasn't talked to the FBI, I think is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
and our
absurd.
source close to Mr. Borgeson said that she was completely cooperating with the authorities.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's not surprising. I mean, she practically is the authorities.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm kind of like
She's one of Smiley's
maybe I'm
people.
like on team. There's gonna be some sort of like Daily Beast or Vanity Fair exclusive. coming
Daily
out.
Beast is a like known CIA.
yeah, that is
a fucking spook vehicle.
Spook paper
Oh
for real.
my
It's like
God.
confirmed. It's
literally
like literally
confirmed. Like it actually. I
Yeah.
mean, they all are, but except for us. But it really like Daily Beast is where. I mean, they fucking Michael fucking Weiss works there. That's all you got to
seriously.
know.
One last thing I want to mention about this is that there was another piece in the Guardian, I think today, that was mentioning how everyone's got Epstein fever. And I just want to say they didn't mention us.
So that's odd because I believe that we have more subscribers than all the other Epstein podcasts. I'm just making that up, but it's probably true.
Allegedly. I think that, you know what, the lamestream media, we got them on their heels.
So I mean, all of these fucking journalists, and I'm actually going to give you a little example of this. All of these journalist fucks, these scumbags, the lying fucking news media, who do, by the way, if you're listening to this, they despise you. I know how journalists talk. I've known journalists. They fucking hate you. They think you're a fucking pissant. I don't. Liz does. I'm just kidding. Liz does not. No, but like they think you're a fucking rube. And they like, I'm not a huge fan of journalists. My dad, technically not, he was a journalist, but he was a good one. He was a radio journalist. Here is an example of how fucking dumb they think we are. So one Mr. William Barr,
Oh, yes.
Attorney General of the United Snakes of America,
Billy Barr.
he gives a little update on the so-called investigation of Mr. Jeffrey Epstein's untimely death. So AP got a scored an interview with this puffy sack of shit as he was on a plane to Montana where there are no age of consent laws. Here's why they think you're stupid. In all of the reporting on this interview, not one major media outlet that I've read an article of has mentioned that without Bill Barr's very own father, there would be no Jeffrey Epstein as we know him today. Because let us not forget that Donald Barr, William Barr's father, Donald Barr, who was, by the way, in the OSS, the Office of Strategic Services, which is the precursor to the CIA, America's first civilian intelligence agency. He was the headmaster of Dalton School, where Matthew Iglesias also went, and where the birthplace of both pedophilia and YIMBYism, same thing.
They're co-producing phenomenons.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So his father, Donald Barr, was like in charge there and hired Jeffrey Epstein, a 2-time college dropout, to teach math and physics. And without that, Jeffrey Epstein was just some obscure nobody. And Donald Barr picked him up, put him in there. From that job, he got a job at Bear Stearns, and the rest is history. So there's no mention that William Barr's father had this close and intimate contact with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, I don't. That detail, it is wild to me that no one wants to mention this or
Yeah.
ask him about it. And my suspicion is that they were told, please
Don't
do not
mention
mention
this.
this.
Yeah,
it's off the table.
All this shit is pay to play for access, right? So, like, what did AP have to promise Bill Barr? Probably
and
not to
by
mention
the way,
that.
Associated Press, don't trust them.
How do you think they got fucking spooks into fucking Vietnam?
Yeah.
They hid them as AP reporters. It's true.
Never forget AP reporting the day before the California primary in 2016 that Hillary had locked up the nomination. Hey, guess what? She hadn't. They only did that to suppress turnout.
They fucking hate
Or
you.
depress turnout.
So here is the same thing. So here is some choice quotes from Barr's rather. I'm not going to say he was very open during this interview. He says, "I can understand people whose minds went to sort of the worst case scenario, but it was a perfect storm of screw ups." Yeah.
I mean, yeah, perfect storm of script.
It was
it
perfect for you.
was.
Yeah. Here's another one. I think it was important to have a roommate in there with him, and we're looking into why that wasn't done. And I think every indication is that it was a screw-up. Second time that screw-up is mentioned. The systems to assure that was done were not followed.
And this, like, I'm just imagining the, like, and it's like the guards just like falling asleep, and all the cameras.
Just
It's like
the total perfect storm. All my supervisors didn't
Jeffrey
know.
slipped on a banana peel, and whoops, there's the hyoid bone.
Yep. Here's the Attorney General also sought to dampen conspiracy theories. No. By people who have questioned whether Epstein really took his own life, saying the evidence proves Epstein killed himself. He added, and listen closely to this quote, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't a quote. Listen closer to me speaking. He added that he personally reviewed security footage. That confirmed that no one entered the area where Epstein was housed on the night he died.
Now, okay, Investigator Brace,
Inspector
Brace,
Yes.
Attorney General Brace.
Reporting for duty, ma'am.
Question.
Yes.
I thought there was no security footage.
So, I seem to recall that when this whole, let's say, so-called suicide happened, that they said, oh, actually, we can't release the footage because the security cameras were damaged. The footage was unusable, is what they said. And then they were like, oh, there was actually a second camera too, but unfortunately, that footage isn't usable either.
Yes, the perfect storm of screw-ups.
And that, I think, was after so much, even more after the Epstein dying part. I think that was like, people were convinced, and then they had like both legs over, but like maybe a hand back on the other side of not being convinced. And then they took that over and they were totally convinced, because that detail right there is like, okay, these motherfuckers I am being gaslit. Yeah, it is. Does Mr. Barr think I am a dingus? And does the AP, who make no mention of the fact that the security cameras were said to be broken, did they also think I'm a dingus? The answer is yes. And so this detail is fucking me up.
So I like this line, if I can just finish this out.
Oh, absolutely.
Barr, who has vowed to aggressively investigate and bring charges against anyone who may have helped Epstein, said investigators were making good progress in the case. They are definitely pushing things along, Barr said. I'll just say there's good progress being made, and I'm hopeful in a relatively short time there will be tangible results. So, question again.
Yeah.
Bring charges against anyone who may have helped Epstein.
Epstein is dead.
But that doesn't mean, your dead father.
No.
That doesn't mean the Professor Dr. Donald Trump.
That doesn't mean the wicked witch Hillary Clinton. I'm just kidding. That's a sexist
You know what?
trope. What?
Maybe we need to, you know what we need?
What?
We need a real witch
More
hunt.
guns.
Real collusion.
We need to actually literally burn someone alive.
No, I'm saying witch hunt, yes, collusion.
Yeah. Wait, who are you referring to? I agree, but I just want to make sure.
I'm saying I want a witch hunt. We're gonna let's get a real witch hunt.
Yeah.
Up in the Justice Department, because there's real collusion.
Yeah. What we need is a sort of neo-McCarthyite, but on the left.
Yeah.
To hunt out these saboteurs.
Pedo McCarthy.
Well, I have to phrase this very carefully.
Yeah, but a good one.
Pedophile Joseph McCarthy, but he himself is not a pedophile.
Yeah, no, he's naming pedophiles, but also this is the the White Lodge version
of Joseph
to the black.
McCarthy.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, we're working on the branding of this.
Yeah.
And
Gotta workshop this a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think that's totally correct, but
we're on the way.
Yeah, we're confident that in a relatively short time there will be tangible results.
Yeah, we'll get McCarthy out here. Yeah, I mean, I think there needs to be some sort of cleansing at these departments. Possibly just shut the whole
A righteous
department
fire,
down.
perhaps.
Absolutely. Possibly just shut them down entirely.
Well,
They call that the Chesapeake strategy.
yes,
No
that's
laws.
right.
So yeah, it is. Speaking of MCC and arrests and everything.
Oh, this is the thing you've been freaking out about.
Yeah. So, 2 guys actually have been arrested in connection to Jeffrey Epstein's death.
Yeah, did you get that? Guess what? Justice has been served.
And they got the
You
highest
got
guys of
served.
the totem pole. The
Yes.
2 guards that supposedly fell asleep while Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. So they are saying that there has been charges brought against these 2 pimps. What are their names?
Tova, Noel,
Mm-hmm.
and Michael Thomas.
Okay, and they are the classic New York names. Tova Noel could be Puerto Rican or he could be Jewish. I cannot tell with that name.
And you know what? We don't need to know.
He could be both. Yeah, I don't need to know. Don't tell me his race. Here's the thing. These guys are basically being brought to court because of dereliction of duty, essentially. I mean, the charge is actually a little more complicated than that. But what they're saying is that they were supposed to, I've read the whole court document thing, the docket. They were supposed to have been signing these slips and checking in on Epstein and all the other prisoners several times, I think 5 or 6 times that night. And they signed these slips. They signed 75 of these slips every time. But they actually, security cameras show they didn't actually check on anyone. And in fact, that they were, I'm sorry to our fans. I wish I could say they were gaming, but they were just making the soy face into an empty switch thing. It was not turned on. No, they were snapping and online shopping for motorcycles and looking at sports blogs. This is what killed Deadspin, actually, because they were like, I don't understand what these guys are talking about. Sorry, no, that's actually a quote from me. I don't watch sports. I watch Yang interviews. So here's 2 things of note in this. One of them was that Michael Thomas was one of the MCC officers who responded to the incident of Jeffrey Epstein's so-called prior suicide attempt / perhaps someone's murder attempt that Tartaglione either did or saved Epstein from.
Mr. Tortellini.
We are keeping our Mr. Tartaglione. Michael Thompson was one of the, Michael Thompson was a coworker of mine. Michael Thomas was not at the MCC. Michael Thomas was one of the responding officers to that.
As inmates placed on suicide watch are housed in a cell on the hospital wing floor of the MCC and are watched hours a day by a staff member or a specially trained inmate companion. Specially trained inmate companion. So question.
That's called a bitch.
Would that be Mr. Tortellini?
You think he is specially trained. The man was a officer of the law who murdered at least 4 people, possibly 5, maybe even 6 in cold blood.
I mean, that would be kind of a cute little twist. I do I kind of
You
imagine.
think he's a fink?
I mean, I imagine their time is kind of like a,
Buddy
odd
comedy?
couple
Yeah.
sort of situation.
You killed a bunch of people. I did the other really bad thing to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oblada.
Epstein's cell was 15 feet from these guys' desk. And I guess they did not notice him kneeling with aggressive force and snapping his own neck.
No, but it says here that the guards did not do the 5 required institutional checks that evening, right?
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
So they missed all 5. Well, that's Well, that's
You'd at
no
least
good.
do. I mean, I'm sorry. I've slacked off on a lot of jobs. You do it like the first one and the last one.
Unless
you don't skip
were,
all of them.
Unless you were told not to. Noel escorted Epstein back to his cell for a meeting with his lawyer that night. The security cameras do catch Tova Noel walking up to Epstein's cell at 10 p.m.
It's a little editorializing for me. Why did the cameras cease working?
Well, that's a good question.
So we can see, here is proof that we have, this isn't just like, because when I read the Bill Barr thing, I'm like, okay, well, maybe they just like saw the entrances to the whole floor or something and saw that no one came in. But this is actually saying that the cameras that watched the doors of Jeffrey Epstein's cell, the same cameras they said were broken, that these cameras do catch Tova Noel, Officer Sergeant Tova Noel, walking up there at 10 p.m. So the cameras stopped working. And if they didn't go to Epstein's cell for the rest of the night, why can't we see that footage? That is my question here, totally. They could clear almost, not all of this, but they could clear a lot of this up by just letting us see this footage. Let us see the footage. You'll take so much heat off if you just release the footage.
I don't understand. So they walk up to the cell, and if they're
cool,
walking
Jeff?
up to the
I'm
cell,
do a little thing.
that's them doing a check.
They're doing that's yeah.
But they didn't do. It says they didn't do the 3 a.m. or the 5 a.m. rounds.
I always miss the 3 and 5, so it's no biggie. Yeah.
And then they find him at 6:30 when they were there pushing out breakfast carts. And allegedly, Noel and Thomas stated, we messed up. She's not to blame.
Probably referring, I think, to their supervisor or the person pushing the breakfast cart.
We didn't do any rounds.
Yeah. Noel told the supervisor, we did not complete the 3 a.m. nor 5 a.m. rounds. And he stated, we messed up. Yeah, we messed up. There we go. These guys are going to get hit with the book.
Yeah.
They're going to go to prison for a long time.
How much do you think it cost them?
That's the other thing too. I'm like, so they probably knew this was coming. I don't think this is a surprise to them. I bet that their families were set up for life.
Yeah.
Because one of these guys, I can't remember which one of these guys doesn't even do night shifts. He's a materials handler there. He's not a correctional officer.
Yeah, that's what I recall from when like the news reports were first coming out after everything went down, was that, and it wasn't even
A guard.
the guards that were supposed to be.
And this was just another story of our broken prison system.
Oh, right. There was all that,
Yeah.
prison reform takes.
Exactly. Or I think it was like de Blasio's take. But I mean, that guy is a fucking piece of shit. Yeah, this is totally ridiculous. I think these guys were set up. Their families were set up probably $1 million or something each. I don't know, probably more than that.
Yeah, but it's unclear then what Barr is referring to that he saw.
What do you mean?
Because it's not clear in this docket what footage exists. If what footage we have is just that Noel or Thomas, I can't remember who's named, walks up to the cell at 10.
Yeah.
Then what's the footage that Barr looked at that says there was no foul play?
A little unknown because it's. I mean, we're really not getting to see the place. I mean, they can also give maybe journalists a little walkthrough, maybe a couple independent journalists a little walkthrough of the MCC and see where these cameras are. Because it's not clear why some footage is unusable, but like that was pretty important footage, and like it's not.
But like this footage is usable to the point of it being.
It's like this clears it.
Yeah.
Like exactly. It like it's if that footage was as unusable. And thus, like, kind of threw a kink in the investigation. Well, that kink has been unkinked, right? Like, we are now. The kink has been shamed, and we are ready to move forward with our lives and with our country, frankly. And that is why I am speaking at the 2020 Clinton Global Initiative Symposium.
Oh yeah.
In Palm Beach, Florida.
Yeah. So just like every Epstein story that comes out. More questions.
Yeah.
No answers.
And and if this has shown you anything, is that the lying news media itself peppered with pedophiles. If that shows us I can't remember how I started that sentence, so I'm really not sure how to finish it. But if that shows us anything, only we can be trusted.
Yeah, and wouldn't hurt you guys in the lamestream media to give the podcast a listen.
Yeah.
We're here.
Or I will expose you too.
One thing we forgot to mention,
What?
Grace, is that Steven Crowder did a
Yes.
live YouTube thing where he tried to commit suicide like Epstein.
Yeah, listen, I just gotten off of shift at the old plant. And I was in my home nude. I was actually nude when I watched this. I mean, whatever. So Steven Crowder, it was a
By the
fairly
way,
short
who
segment.
is Steven Crowder?
I think Steven
know
Crowder
I'm like very stupid.
was
but-
like a second someone's sidekick on Fox News, and then he busted out, like he was their wacky sidekick, and he busted out, and now he has this, like, he's like a YouTuber basically. He did in this very short segment, by the way, this was short. He made 80% of it was ads for Black Rifle Coffee. I'm not joking. It was literally more ads played, like native advertising and ads that he just inserted in there, than actual content.
Yeah.
And he also he's like makes some mention for the autists at Pole, which I'm like, come on, dude.
like-
Literally only 80-year-olds watch your fucking TV show.
Okay, so couple gut reactions to the like 2 seconds that I watched. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was like
I watched the whole thing.
unbelievably
So
boring.
dull and stupid.
One, he's got a real stupid looking face.
His face sucks. Yeah, he looks like Jesse Waters.
2, why was he addressed as Evil Knievel?
That's the whole thing. That's the thing is you say that the right is the only people that are like, you know, these busybodies say like the right wing is taking this seriously and they're sort of winning in this. He's making a mockery of this. Like, I mean, fair enough. Some people do that. But it is like he was dressed as Evil Knievel because he's doing a stunt. And that's what it was. It was a stunt. You know, they were, I can't even remember like the methodology for testing it. But basically he didn't like actually try to hang himself. He had this thing around his neck.
Not.
They were measuring these certain measurements of it. He said like, and I saw him, he tried to do the Epstein sort of lean forward with force. He wasn't leaning forward with force.
No, because he didn't want to kill himself because he was afraid that it was true. And if he
Exactly.
really believed his bullshit, he would have fucking done it.
Here's the other thing, though. They do, like, successfully, quote-unquote, do it. And they prove, guess what they prove?
What?
That it's possible. So here's the thing. Here's what you got to ask yourself. Is why is this person, who is, of course, connected to the whole Trump team and all that, and also Bill Barr, Acosta, Trump himself.
Not to mention Jack Prilosek.
Why is this guy sort of making a mockery of people who think that perhaps Epstein really didn't kill himself? And then he actually proves, inadvertently, that it's entirely possible. And he fucking says, oh, yeah, well, it's possible. I guess we'll never know.
Okay, so here's what I say to you, Steven Crowder. 1, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, zip it.
2, you got a stupid looking face.
Horrible.
3,
You've been lizzed.
I like this advertising idea.
We're not doing Black Rifle Coffee. Liz had never heard of Black Rifle Coffee.
I don't know what that is.
If you watch
I don't even know what Blue Chew is.
Oh, you don't?
No, you always name these things, and I'm like,
Well,
haha,
I get
yeah,
it sent to
totally.
my house in unmarked discrete packages so that you would never know.
Is it like an ED thing?
What's ED? Really, what is ED?
Emergency department.
No, erectile dysfunction.
Erectile dysfunction? They can dysfunction? Mine always works perfectly. Ladies and gentlemen, I've never needed Blue Chew, but if you do
Is
need
that what
Blue
it
Chew,
is?
yeah, it's like Viagra that you chew on.
Like gummies?
I don't know. I've only done Viagra once and it almost gave me a heart attack.
Don't.
I was like, this will make me fuck better, but it turns out it just makes you have a boner longer even after you bust. And I'm like, it hurt so bad. It was up for like 4 hours. I was like,
Grace, that's so
18.
90s.
Yeah, well, it was like a sitcom or something. I couldn't get it down. I literally poured cold water on it.
Ugh.
Yeah, usually I have to do that just because I'm so
Did you have to go to the
hot.
hospital?
No, I'm actually banned from the hospital for having too much ED. Because dysfunction doesn't just mean it won't go down. Sometimes it means it gets too big.
Okay, all right.
So, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
My
I was
name-
trying to think of something nice to say.
Well, I'm in
Oh.
the royal fashion.
Wait, one thing we should say. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes,
I am a big holiday person.
she is.
And I am getting ready to have Christmas throw up all over my apartment. And I love Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I get my trad wife on.
fucking despise Thanksgiving.
Ugh, you've never had my turkey.
I hate turkey.
Well, you'd like my turkey. It's good.
Would not, but okay.
And I hope everyone has a lovely holiday.
I will be celebrating Jewish Thanksgiving.
That's not a thing.
It is a thing. You wouldn't know about it. With my family and my uncle, Mr. Joseph Epstein Tova Noel.
All right. I'm Liz.
I am Dodi Al-Fayed, the true king, Brace Belden. And we are joined by Princess Diana's ex-husband, young Chomsky.
And have a great Thanksgiving. Talk to your family about Epstein if you don't know what to do with their politics.
Here's some tips for talking to your family about politics. Actually, just do like a siblings fucking thing in front of them.
All right. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
That's what you want. Jeffrey Epstein.